In this video, we're going to look at the skeleton of every single crypto bull run. What is consistent, what can we predict, and what we know that we can't predict. And what is the best strategy to take advantage of the next crypto bull run, right? So let's have a look at each one. If you just look at the price, you see that it's not very similar, right? So the first one, you have a parabolic ramp up, crash, another parabolic ramp up, right? So 2017 parabolic ramp up, and then you have a bear market like that, and then collapse. 2021 you have a parabolic ramp up, distribution, crash, and then you even make higher highs after, right? So if you just look at the price, we can't predict it that well, right? Especially we can predict it looking at the story. If the Pope is buying Bitcoin or no, we don't care, right? We're not going to be able to predict it by looking at the people are talking about, right? If we look at the risk metrics, now we can actually have some predictive power. What are risk metrics? Risk metrics are data points that once they get into this top range, historically it predicts the top, the macro top. And once they get into this bottom range, historically it predicts the bottom, right? So you might say, well, everybody already knows about this, it's not going to work again. So if that's true, why didn't everyone buy the bottom there? You know, the risk metrics, they were at the bottom range. So the reason is because people don't care about risk metrics. People care about the story, people care about the narrative, right? And once we get into this type of risk metrics there, the story is very bullish, right? So we just want to look at the risk metrics, we don't care about the story. So what are the three phases that happens every single time, and we know that we can predict it, right? So the first one is the parabolic ramp up. So you have a parabolic ramp up until the risk metrics get into this top range. Then we have the collapse. So this is the macro collapse. This is the end of the parabolic ramp up, this is always an absolute wreckage. The most important thing that we can do in the crypto bull market is be out before this collapse. That's the most important thing. How can we predict the end of this collapse? If you look at, for example, at the weekly RSI, you can see here that the bottom always corresponds to this level in the RSI. So this is just one way of trying to predict the end of this collapse, right? So this is just one way. And then after this massive panic sell, macro panic sell, you get this quick recovery. So these are people, so all this money is on the sidelines, right? And it just rushes back into the market once there's a sign of the end of this collapse. So as you can see, massive wreckage and then quick recovery, right? So lower high, right? There, same thing, lower high, as well a lower high, and here in this one you made a higher high after, here in this one you made a parabolic ramp up after. So this recovery is not super predictable. It's not super predictable. If you look at the risk metrics, the recovery there, so it's not super predictable. It's not super predictable. However, we know that after this panic sell is over, there is going to be a recovery. So we want to assume that there's going to be a lower high like that, right? We want to assume there's going to be a lower high like that. We don't want to assume that it's going to make a higher high, right? So those are the three phases that we know are going to happen, right? So we know we can take advantage of this information to capitalize in this bull market, right? Follow for more crypto insights.